well, one Boxthorn won the battle, but didn't win the war. You think that's nothing on that hand? Have a look at this. Yeah, that little mishap. Earlier on, I went and pulled out a bit of wire that was stuck in a Boxthorn, and as I was pulling it, the other end come back and whipped bloody hard and stabbed into my wrist just a little bit. No big deal. A little bit of blood, but nothing really. Anyway, I was down there cutting this Boxthorn, and it's a bit like trees, you know. When you look at a tree, you've got to sort of work out where the weight's balanced in the tree. So say, for instance, you might look at the little plum tree here, and you go, well, where's the weight balance? Well, your branch going up and across that way, the other one going, the weight is balanced in basically that direction. So to safely cut it, you'd probably cut in there. You got to do a little chink and blah, blah, blah. Should do a little chink out of the front and then cut through the back there. And you basically cut exactly opposite from where it's, so you'd cut in, if it's going to go that way, you cut in sort of like that with your bar and she'll fall down. With a lot of these Boxthorns, you've got about 5 or so different branches, and I looked at this one, and the one I was looking at, it was easy access to get into in a particular area, and I just cut out 2 little bits, and yeah, I could go straight in, no worries. And I was looking at all the ones, assessing them, and all of them were going to fall downhill, except the one that was right in front of me, and it sort of looked like it sort of come out and come towards me, and then sort of went up a bit, and anyway, I cut the other 4, and they all fell down, and then I looked at this one that come out towards me, and initially I looked at it and said, well, the weight's going to fall towards me, so I'm going to have to get out of the way. But I was spent quite a few minutes getting the other 4 down and got a blade stuck and blah, blah, blah. Finally got those 4 down, and then looked at the one above me and said, well, the trunk sort of comes up and then sort of goes, you know, comes towards me and then sort of goes up and almost away from me. What I didn't realise, though, is that the bulk of it was still hanging over the top of me. So I cut into it, and the bitch collapsed on top of me, didn't it? Great. Stabbed straight in the bloody head in about 4 or 5 places, and straight into the arm, like properly into the arm, straight in the wrist. And so then I made a point just of trying to put the saw down and get the bloody thing off me, and then as I had it roll off me, I saw this thing hanging out of me wrist, and so I grabbed hold of it with my teeth and pulled it out, and oh hell, that's when the blood started going everywhere. So I made it up to the car and got into the bug-out bag, and you know, it's like everything. I knew there's compression bandages in there, and I could find 2 different things, and there's, you can probably barely see it, but there, hang on. I'll be able to see right about where my thumb is. There's a real nasty cut. It goes right around. I almost cut the finger to the bone on that one, and used the same first aid kit. And in it there's something it's almost like masking tape, but it's thinner and it lets through air and stuff like that. And that's what I put around my finger when my finger started bleeding, and by hell was that bleeding. And I couldn't find that stuff, could I? Because as I tipped out the whole first aid kit into the back of the car, it was underneath all the, you know, gauze and all the other bits and pieces. But anyway, I tried to stupidly use little plastic strips. Oh, they're great. You know, first you got to get them out of the initial packet they're in, and then you got to get them out of those stupid little paper bits, and then you got to peel the little tabs off, only to find that the amount of sweat and flipping blood you've got on you, they're not even going to stick. So then I had to use an old glove to basically dry my arm from sweat and blood enough to get one of these things to stick on, just to get something reasonably tied over the top of the hole where the blood was coming out, and then put a compression bandage on. But as I was doing that, I realised basically in the time I'd got from the Boxthorn up to the car, the hole where it had stabbed me had basically stopped bleeding. I believe there's small muscles that will close up the hole, because a bloke I work with in my apprenticeship, this is my original one, sandblasting, his father lost an arm to a machine, And he said within 5 minutes his arm stopped bleeding. And he actually said to him, how about I run down and pick it up off the conveyor belt? But no, he lived the rest of his life with only one arm. But anyway, this stopped bleeding, and that was within about 5 minutes. But I put that over the top of it anyway, a bit of compression bandage. But tonight I might just call it a day and go pick the tools up, and tonight have a shower and give it a good clean with alcohol and rebandage it and all that. But yeah, had a flipping day, eh?